So as gas prices have been spiking higher, the Biden administration has been laying it on pretty thick, following that golden rule, never letting a crisis go to waste. This as they try to push and shame Americans for not owning electric vehicles. Now, heck, you save money and you get to help the environment, environmental justice. At least that's the way the pitch goes. By the way, did I mention taxpayer subsidies? That even knocks off the cost. But is it worth it? Joining me now, the car coach, Lauren Fix. And Lauren, Tesla hiked their prices, I think, like 3 times in the last few weeks. Material costs are soaring. You wrote a great piece on the real cost of electric vehicles versus combustion gasoline vehicles. Tell us about it.
Well, I cut right to the chase. I put it in my Substack. I mean, it was really important. I've had so many people contact me thinking I'm just going to get rid of my gasoline-powered vehicle and buy an electric vehicle. But just to give you an idea, coast to coast, every vehicle on the road, there's only 3% of them on the road today that are truly electric cars. Of course, that's not what a lot of places are saying, and a lot what the government's saying, oh, everyone's buying one. And that's not really true. It's also important to note that if you can't afford the $6 a gallon gas, don't get a car payment, because the average car payment for an electric vehicle, the average cost is $51,000. And the average cost of a fuel-efficient subcompact, if you can find either one of them, is $34,000. And the average person will keep their vehicle about 6 years right now. And when you start adding up the actual costs, you realize that those EVs are not exactly in your favor. And it always sounds great on the surface, but just looking at the costs themselves, having to buy a charging station, which I just put one in my house and it cost me $950, plus the fact that I already had a compressor in the garage. So if you didn't have a full panel in your garage, it's going to cost you between $1,500 and $2,000, plus the cost of the charger, which is between $2,000 and $5,000. And I also, so you start adding that up, it can be very expensive.
No, I mean, it's eye-watering. People must read it, but also this sort of myth that the EVs are so great for the planet. I saw that tweet from Brian Romelli that points out that the pounds that are needed for a single EV battery, 25,000 brine, 30,000 cobalt, 5,000 nickel, 25,000 pounds of copper, 500,000 pounds of earth to make a single battery. I mean, so how do they even get away saying an EV is environmental justice?
Well, just like anything else, somebody's getting their palm greased on this, and it's certainly not the consumers. And the problem is politicians are pushing this agenda, not realizing or not caring the fact that we're going to pay the price, maybe not today, but down the road. I've spoken with so many people that work in the environmental world, in the metals industry. I used to work in metallurgy, and in speaking with them, there is absolutely no way to recycle those batteries. There are 7 rare earth minerals. We do not mine them here in the U.S., and it's important to note that many of those minerals are either in Afghanistan, Ukraine, or Russia. And we are not allies with any of them at this point. Maybe Ukraine, but we're not really sure there either. But China owns the most of the mines, and that's a problem. So we'll no longer be beholden to Venezuela or Russian oil. We'll be beholden to China. And again, we're going to put ourselves behind the 8 ball by not being energy independent, because it has to do with our security here, too.
I agree. I got less than a minute to go. So yesterday I bought my wife a new whip. I'm even embarrassed to tell you how much I paid over sticker. But I was thinking, golly, I could probably flip this thing to the right audience, right? And so lo and behold, I find out that car flipping is a thing, and it's supposedly doing pretty good right now. Is that right?
Absolutely. I have friends that do that for a living. They'll buy a car from someone who doesn't want it anymore. They'll put it on their front yard or on this old, remember these put it on the street corner, turn around and sell it for a profit. That is not for everyone. In many cases, in order to transfer the title from the previous owner to you, you have to register it and wait for a new title. Here in New York State, it's 12 weeks for a title. So make sure that if you're going to flip it, either work with a broker, but you could buy a car and turn around and sell it to a dealer who will be thrilled to give you a premium for it, because there's just a shortage. I will also tell you that I have a dealer here in the Buffalo area who was selling cars at sticker. Other people from other states were buying it from them and then turning around and selling it for a premium. So it is happening. Anytime that there's a roadblock, we as Americans are very creative when we come up with solutions.
And when the Dodge minivan goes up 69% in 1 year, there's a lot of flipping. Lauren, thank you very much. It's been far too long.